this is me during a Zoom call. Obviously, I'm disinterested, I'm confused, and most of the time, going into the Zoom call, I actually feel better than leaving the Zoom call. So that's why today I'm going to be talking to you about Fellow AI. I'm Braden Bankston, and Fellow AI is a new AI meeting assistant that's going to help all students. So first of all, let me just go over a little bit how I'm going to went about this project. So I actually decided to turn it more into a case project where I took the AI and I actually created my own meeting with my two roommates and talked about something that is maybe hurtful to some of you guys because of CU's current state of football. So in this case, you can see this is just after the meeting. It was able to record the meeting, apply a transcript to each moment during the meeting, and as well just gave us some topics, overall topics that I actually put into the Fellow AI system. And so that's kind of the overview there, and I'll go into a couple more things. So other things is team meetings and keep agendas. So initially you go into the meeting and you make sure that you have the meeting agenda set up on the Fellow AI platform, and you also have action items that you want to take care of during that meeting. And what's really cool is this process can go on the meeting Zoom itself, so you can click off the agenda items and action items as you go throughout the meetings. And also for those of you that are worried about the technical stuff, your Google Calendar and your Zooms and your Google Meets can be directly integrated into the Fellow AI. That way you don't have to do that whole technical stuff. Trust me, I struggle with that a lot. And so just a quick overview. So this is an example of a meeting here on the right side. And this would be your talking points or your agenda that you're allowed to follow and click through once you complete those items. And also there's an AI, so an Ask Fellow option, where if you miss something, you're allowed to type something in during the meeting and it'll clarify what somebody else said during the meeting. And just on the left is after. So this is before or after you're allowed to ask Fellow about past meetings, future meetings, what are some action items or meeting agendas for your current meeting that you're about to pursue. And so I wanted to test this. And so I did three things during our meeting. The first one was on the right side here, where I wanted to make sure that it could clearly define what one of my roommates had said. So I decided to ask about the current quarterback environment at the University of Colorado, and it actually gave a very good description of what my roommate Benjamin said, and it also brought up direct quotes from what he said. So obviously it takes from the transcript and kind of analyzes it, but it also makes it cleaner. So it cleans it up, it makes it super clear, and is super thorough as well. So on the left side there, the far left, I wanted to go after the meeting and make sure that Fellow AI could kind of track what I wanted the main points to be and what each person said for each main point. And so that's over there. There's a list of each person and what they said for each topic. So the first one might have been about there's just the general frustrations of CU fans. And then I really wanted to experiment with it, and so I wanted to understand if Fellow AI could understand the tone of what people are saying. So I asked my roommate Wyatt to say a couple sarcastic things during the meeting. And well defined, it did a fantastic job. So he basically said throughout the meeting, we were talking about the struggles of CU football, and he was able, or Fellow AI was able to find distinct moments within the AI, or within the meeting, where he was super sarcastic. So I thought that was really cool, could understand tone. And then just the attention to privacy. So it doesn't use our data to train their models. So basically what the AI does is it uses the transcript and then it analyzes only that information. And it doesn't sell any of our data. And the final thing about privacy is really cool. Although it's exclusive to the highest price option, it has pause and extraction features. So you're able to pause the meeting. So the Zoom goes on or whatever platform you're on, but you're able to pause the AI, so it'll stop taking notes. This is really useful for companies who might need confidential information excluded from this. And the extraction option is just in the transcript. So after the meeting, if you realize, oh, well, I shouldn't have said that, you're actually able to delete that from the transcript, and it'll fully delete it from the recording and the topics as well. So just to go a little bit into the price plans. So I was able to get the team for small teams price plan. This was just a 14-day trial or whatever. And it's I would say the team and free plan don't have many differences. Besides the fact that it can take really way more extensive meeting notes, I would say the business and enterprise plans are the big distinction here. There obviously have a wider array of people you're allowed to have on your team, but the enterprise plan, like I mentioned earlier, has that feature of extraction. So with bigger companies are trying to keep information to themselves, they're allowed to take out that stuff from their presentations. And then just a little bit of competitive analysis. So Otter AI and Fireflies AI are some of the other big competitors in this space. And what I found is they're all super comparable. So they have AI summaries. They have some sort of meeting agenda, but I didn't feel like it was as thorough as fellow AIs. The task tracking is kind of the same thing as the agenda. You're able to click off certain items as you go throughout the meeting. Integrations are very similar. I would say the only thing is the privacy focus. So I would say that each of these AIs have the ability to kind of keep that centralized just to your group or your company. But the privacy focus for fellow AI has that ability to extract that information and pause that recording just in case you missed something. So I thought that was really cool. And just some limitations to go over it. So obviously, this is the homepage here. When I first got into it, I was super confused. There's a lot of different things you can do, and I had to watch multiple videos on where to start and how to become comprehensive with this AI. I will say it's a huge learning curve, but eventually you get the hang of it. I also didn't have technically group members within the fellow AI platform, so I'm sure that would complicate things as well. And it prioritizes teams. So as I mentioned previously, you can start with a meeting agenda and action items, and you're actually able to share those agendas with your teammates that are part of your fellow subscription. So for individual use like myself, it could be super useful for doing classes or trying to feel like I've missed information from certain people or important things from meetings. But teams can also integrate what they want into these agendas, and they're able to cross that off as well. You're also allowed to put certain action items towards certain people in the group. So definitely limited for individual use, and packages. So as I mentioned earlier, you don't have the ability to extract. You're allowed to pause, but you're not allowed to extract information from the transcript with the free plan. So I felt like, and I tried for hours to try to figure out how to do it, but it's just not included in the plan. So there are some limitations, but it could be super useful in the future. I know if I had this during my Zoom classes, like during sophomore year of high school, I thought this would be super useful. So obviously you saw me in the first picture. Oftentimes I get out of Zooms really confused, and so now I'm going to have this as a tool in the workplace in the future. So thank you. Yeah.
Brought up like tone. Did you notice any like typos or anything with like mumbling or like using slang or anything?
No. So that's the one thing I was really concerned about, audio quality. So I was doing my part of the presentation in my room, and my roommate's next door, right? So there was a little bit of, whatever you call that.
Feedback.
Yeah, feedback.
Yeah.
And it actually did such a good job, because even if there was a point where maybe something wasn't clear, it would kind of morph it into what I wanted to hear. Not necessarily like hallucinations, but it would just kind of paraphrase it for me, and it would make it clear within the summary. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
I know a lot of these platforms are kind of like building their own AI within like their own website. So I know Zoom has one. Did you by any chance like get the chance to compare it to that?
No, so I looked at Zoom, and I just wanted to do something kind of outside of Zoom, make it a little bit more niche. But they definitely have a platform that's just kind of it's integrated already. And so I haven't looked too much into Zoom, but those other companies I mentioned are really similar to Fellow AI, where as soon as you enter your Zoom or your agenda, whatever, I'll do everything from Fellow AI. So I thought that was neat as well.
So obviously a lot of teachers will like film their classrooms, and then students that miss can go back and watch. Do you think it could do a similar job and capture that super well, so that instead of watching the full hour, 15-minute lecture, you could just read the notes from it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, that was the biggest eye opener was you could take a 50-minute meeting and break it down, especially if you don't have an hour out of your day in order to do that. The only concern with that is you would have some privacy issues, whether they want their, you know, their recording out there with the group. But in terms of like a corporate setting, it could be super useful like that. If you miss a meeting, or which people do, you're able to go back, and even if you just want the highlights, you're able to do that. So I think that's cool.
Can you go to the comparison slide?
Yeah, of course.
And this is sort of a weird question, but does the chart capture everything you wanted to say? Like, it seems like you're a pretty big fan.
Yeah.
You, now that you know how to use it, you would probably want to keep using it. So, is there anything that's not captured here, or anything you want to sort of add to almost, or?
Yes, but in terms of right now, no.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is I didn't really get the full experience with the teams.
Right.
So I would definitely want to throw a couple things in there. But just in terms of easiness to use, I didn't actually use Otter and Fireflies,
Yeah.
but I watched countless videos about people using them. And I would say for the most part, they're super similar. Besides the meeting agendas beforehand, they're all super similar. I don't know how that will work with Teams and how those other AIs use Teams, so I didn't really want to talk about it. But
Mhm.
yeah, definitely with more research, I could add some more sections there.
So, I keep seeing Teams with a capital T. You don't mean the product, you mean team.
Correct. So
Yeah.
like if you
Right.
use it with a team.
With a team, yeah, okay.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Yeah. I feel like everyone uses Otter, or it just seems to show up. I constantly get like little summaries from Otter, but maybe it's something I downloaded a while ago. I don't know. That's what I'm more familiar with. Other questions? You want to go back to the slides about with your housemates, I guess? Just
Yeah.
those, yeah.
Yeah, so I basically just wanted to test the limitations of Ask Fellow as their AI service. So I wanted to make sure I did it during the meeting
Yeah.
because I was unsure whether it had enough information to create a comprehensive response.
Yeah.
It did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
I mean, phenomenal job. And just even to like quoting,
Mhm.
to making it more clear. I mean, if you listened to my roommate talking, you would be like, wow, it's kind of confusing. And then he does Bella does a great job.
Yeah,
Summarizing.
interesting. Yeah.
And then in terms of understanding tone, that was the biggest thing for me. I couldn't quite figure out the practical use of that.
But I'm sure there is.
But
yeah.
there is somewhere. So
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah. Cool. I didn't mean to take over. Were there other questions?
Just one more thing. I noticed on the left box, it's not even just the transcript. It's like super well formatted notes. Is it like that all the way through?
Yeah, so you have the transcript here on that left side there.
Mhm.
And so basically this is the setup. And then there's another tab which basically I just showed you there, where you can ask AI about it, right? So it collects the whole transcript, and you're actually able to gather information, and it'll from the transcript, and it'll just put it into a neat little box, and like basically a generative AI section, just coming from the AI itself.
Yeah, that seems helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just this morning, I was in a meeting where, I knew I should be listening fully, but I'm like, I know what he's gonna say, so I turned my attention to something actually for this class for about a minute. Or no, like 10 seconds, and then I came back and I was like, oh, I actually missed that. So I had to ask him to say it again. And it was just exactly what you said, where you're like, oh, it would really be better if I could just like not admit that I was not paying attention for that 1 minute. So I think that's really interesting. I'm not sure that Otter can do that in midstream.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on it. I know they're very similar. So
Okay, maybe.
I watched Otter, and the biggest thing I could do is the quality.
Yeah.
So the quality from here, from what I understand, is a lot more
It's
thorough and
better.
accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also it's just easier to use.
Yeah. Stupid name. Do you guys like the name? I don't like the name. but-
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of that.
What the hell?
Like maybe it's your friend. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well.